Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster daily trade recaps and teachings. All right guys, so today was CPI, as everybody knows. So there was CPI and we didn't really have many news plays, but semiconductors were strong and we nailed them, and we'll discuss the big wins on AVGO, AMD, NVDA. There were not many news plays. ORCL was there, which was a short setup or a C minus bounce, which of course rarely works, but it was a short. We will discuss that, and we'll discuss few other names that we traded today. AMD, NVIDIA, and Tesla short at open, market short at open. We'll discuss few other names from our watch list: Macy, Hasbro, AMAT, among others. All right, so let's start. Let's see. So anybody who's new here, so I wake up every day in my community 45 minutes before the market open. That's how we get ready for the market. I go through all the news sources, all the pre-market movers. You can see all the information I post in my community, various movers, news sources, pre-market news, analyst notes, what are analysts saying today, what are they upgrading, what are they downgrading. And after doing that, then I create my watch list. After creating my watch list, then I create my levels for the day. You can clearly see the levels I have here for today, and you can take a screenshot and see how they panned out. For today, Tesla was one of the important ones that was under the pivot and short and heavy. And I talk about how the 1 hour chart is looking and how the 10 minutes chart is looking. So we do that. Basically, that's our routine every day. We get ready for the market open so that we can play our repeatable setups that we play day in, day out. We try to have big winners and keep the losers. We try to keep them as small as possible. So this is how we get ready for the day. As you see, market was bearish at the open after the CPI. So we shorted it. We will talk about that. I will discuss that and how we long the market, how we stay on the top of this market trend, from the open, and then how we change our bias and how our system tells us when to go long, when to go short. So that's what we follow, right? Repeatable, consistent setup that we as a professional traders use day in, day out. No gut feeling, no random impulsive trades, everything based upon the system, which we can repeat day in, day out. So anyways, we were ready for the day. This was our plan. There was nothing much on the news front today, so we were waiting for the market open, and then we'll discuss. Let's start, and we'll discuss each play one by one. And I'm always on the voice for first 2 hours almost, and then my all day guidance is on the alerts tab in my community every day. So let's start. So let's look at my SPY and QQQ guidance. So at open this morning, when we we always do, we have repeatable setups that we play every day, like I said. But we also have a fixed routine, like we play the morning plays, the amateur move, which I teach, and then we play the trend move. So amateur move this morning on the markets, when the markets just opened, was a flush, was a short, right? So this was a short on SPY. If you take it SPX, that was a bigger move on SPX, and you can see this faded open from 461 to 460.61, right? So from 460, almost $1 fade from where it opened, and you have to be fast. You have to be fast, right? Like this, right? So I scalped some SPX at open personally, because SPX options, they give some good returns when you do those. Let me see if I can find you that here. Usually it's in our SPX tab. So anyway, so that's where I was short, and I was on voice, and I was saying we are short. We scalped the shorts, and same for QQQ. If I go to a smaller time frame, you can always have a smaller time frame at open if you want. 2 minutes is not bad, or 3 minutes. QQQ was from 395.57, almost $1 move. So they were heavy. they were heavy until first 10 minutes, 9:42, 9:45, they started to base then. So we showed it in the first 10 minutes, and then I was on voice talking about that they are starting to hold, and then we closed out, right? So where we closed out was still from low, it was still low from where we started, right? If I started shorting here 4061 50s, I was still at 4061s I'm covering, so it was a profitable trade. It was not my all day bias, it was a morning trade. If we had lower lows, lower highs, we would have closed, but our system said it's time to reverse. So you can clearly see I said closed all shorts, so that's when I closed the shorts. So that's when we can go long there, or we can wait for a further confirmation which came later. My system tells me that it is turning bullish, and what you see here is only like 10% of what I'm doing on the voice. So I'm always talking about the trend, what the market is doing, how the trend is changing. So then here's when the trend changes, and then it's back over EMA cloud. We clearly know the trend is bullish now. So the trend is bullish. Now what it's going to do, so here's what I said it's over 3450, consolidating. There is some resistance here. I said that 1048, and then it finally broke out at 11. I said hold the calls, we are making next leg up. So we held the calls for the next leg up, and then it went there nicely. So you can see one of the SPX call that I bought when I covered my short. It went all right, I think we hung in there. So one of the SPX calls that I bought, it went almost it gained 200%. So you always scale out, you add in. So the power of SPX trade all day, when it's short, when it's long. We are in just a very beautiful market that we are getting the trends, and we are not chopping. So we have a range, and everything is trading its ATR. So that's why you need to capitalize on this. So yeah, so that was the recap, guys. Short in the morning, and as you see, close the shorts, and when they changes over the clouds, you get long. So this is a repeatable system we use every day. Before I go to the next one, I want to show you a breakout, why looking at a bigger picture is so important. So look at this breakout, right? This happened today, but I gave this breakout not only yesterday, I also gave it out December 7, right? So I gave the chart idea that this breakout is setting up, and look now, and look now. So this is why you need to look at the bigger picture, guys. You need to stay on the right side of the market. You don't need to do guesswork. You need to have a bigger picture. Yeah, weekly, daily, 1 hour, 10-minute trend. Then you can execute much better than doing guesswork. All right, let's go to the first next play. So let's look at our trades in NVDA today. So as always, NVIDIA, AMD, both were always in focus. Even today they were in focus, right? So if you see, they were always in focus. Initially AMD and both NVIDIA. Let's see if I can find. Okay, we'll talk about NVIDIA separately, but let's discuss AMD separately. Let's discuss NVIDIA. So NVIDIA here was, I was looking at the markets. NVIDIA was the first one to recover. So when I saw that recovery right here, this candle, that's when I started a starter. Starter means if I'm taking 1,000 shares, I would take 300 shares, right? If I'm taking 30 options, I would take 10 option contracts, something like that, just to give you example. And then my plan was, if the market bounces, because you always have to look at the market. You cannot just trade blindly that I'm trading NVIDIA. You do not care what Qs are doing or what SPX or SPY is doing. You need to also focus on the market. So I knew if market breaks out, if market pushes, then NVIDIA is going to push as well. So what happened, right? So I had a starter. I knew if 470 doesn't break, I will cut it. So I waited, and then 470 broke. and then I added more. You see half size? So half size means then I'm on my half size, or like more than a starter. If I'm doing 1,000 shares, I'm doing now 500 or 600 shares. So then it was all about trading this into our 10 a.m. So by 10 a.m. we hit 474, right? So we started from on 468, we almost got $6 per share, option moved 30-40%. So we got a good opening trade. So that's what I said, let's take some off or lock half position. If you were 600 shares, lock your 300 shares, or if you were 1,000 shares, lock your 500 shares. And then I gave the stops under 470 so that you can lock that profit in the money. So after that, then later in the day, NVIDIA was holding this level and this 470 level again. So same profit money, the same profit money I had, I decided to add it right here versus this EMA Cloud midday setup, right? So that was a midday. This setup, I call it as a midday curl setup or midday setup versus the EMA Clouds. You can clearly see it, and then the push. So that's what I said, holding 3450, still have a lot of flow coming in for coming weeks. Should also make new high here at end of the day. I was telling people, like 1 hour before the market close, and then boom, right? So you can clearly see the setup right here, our morning trade, that's fine. And then you can get back in, and for our end of the day push, even the end of the day push from that 470 pivot, it went $6. And even from the high of the day breakout right here, this went it was a decent move of 474 to 476, right? So you can see my guidance. I'm saying that it should push higher, it should make new high, because the market was squeezing on a weekly breakout that I just showed you. So that's how you trade. That was my guidance. That was my guidance all day. So that was my guidance all day. So that was my guidance, and that's how you trade. This was NVIDIA. Another day, another green on NVIDIA. All right, let's go to the next one. So NVIDIA today did the same thing that it did yesterday, right? So it did the same thing, red, reclaim the bullish pivot over the yesterday highs and push. Same thing today. Pull back to the resistance, the support levels. I want you guys to look at the support level that I gave on AMD, 131.90, right? 131.90. So you see that, right? Now look careful where AMD was bouncing. 131.90 area that I gave, right? No, it's not a fluke. It's a level, tested level, not a fluke, right? So that, and then it went up. So now let's see when did we decide to long it. So it was mainly Win who came in, and he liked it. He liked the strength and this push on that support level that I gave. And then I said AMD NVIDIA both recovering, and he talked about 131. And then I saw this flag break, and that's when I told about everybody that this is the flag breaking. So NVIDIA wins first call out, first guidance, and then flag break. And then I gave everybody 435 target, and then 435 was another big breakout on the daily. I even shared on Twitter when we were breaking out of this setup here, right here, right? So I shared this as well. So this 133 breakout, and then there was this 135 yesterday highs breakout. So then that goes, then I gave 137 target, then my next target was 137.50 area, my final target was 140 plus, and I was short by 11 cents on my 140 target. But you can clearly see the guidance, the levels, you have everything. Now if you're just adding small here and getting out here, then you will not consistently make money. You need to understand the trend, the squeeze, the strength, how strong the name is, what is going on. So much money is flowing into semiconductors right now. So this is when you make big bucks. You grow your small account like crazy. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, guys, let's look at our another big winner today, AVGO. So AVGO, as everybody know, you have watched my previous two videos. We've been trading AVGO for last 3 days. I mean, it's getting extended, but we don't care. As long as it holds the trend, we trade. Grade 1 on the options, right? Your options going 100%, use some profit, buy some other lotos. They go 100%, use some profit, buy some other lotos. Keep rolling as long as, you know, I mean I still have some with my profit. Even if it goes to zero, that's fine, right? There are 1100 options. So the today, you know, first thing in the morning I said day 3 setup still strong. Day 3 excuse me, versus 1030 150 C calls, which were I was trading, and then we were low. First target was 1050, next target was 16060, and then it was rejecting 1060. I said we wait, then it pulled back to 512 EMS. All you need to do is wait for pullback to your 512 Ripster clouds. You pull, it pulls back. I meant 512 here, this is a typo, but the point is we curled nicely. We curl nicely, and then we break out more, right? So look at it, how the people in community are doing so good, you know, because we are sticking with the trend. And look at my price alerts, and look at my price alerts. Each breakout, my price alert goes in, my price alert goes in, my price alert goes in. So AVGO, guys, as you clearly see, beautiful winner. I don't need to show, you know, tell much, but again, beautiful. Let's go to the next one. All right, guys, the next one we want to look at is Meta. So Meta, guys, right? So I think Kathy has been buying Meta. So I gave the risk under 325, like it is a long setup if market pushes more, and that was our risk, you know, thanks to Kathy. And 328.20 was our first target. Next target was 330, and then it kept pushing. I said we can really move to 332, and then I gave this flag setup. You know, if I go here, if I tell you guys, you know, I think I talked about it on the floor. Let's see if I can find my comments on the floor. Where was I on the Meta? It was the middle of the day. Let's see, 12:30. Yeah, so around that time. So I said you can use 380.30 as strict stops, long trigger over 329.80, nice flag, right? So, and that's what happened, right? So all the setup I gave here, then it triggered, so it triggered, this setup triggered, right? And then it, another breakout from here, yesterday's level, and then big push to 334. Just beautiful, right? So all day guidance on Meta right here in front of you. So you understand what was the setup. You see my pivots. If you want to see my levels, I can show you my levels, which levels were breaking out. Then you can clearly see Meta 325.30, 326.40, both of the pivots, you know, these pivots that I gave you guys or in my community, both of them broke out and we pushed higher, right? So repeatable, you know, and we are on top of it, and you see that we are on top of it. We were not long on Google's, Amazon's or Tesla's. We knew which plays are really strong today, and that's where we focused. And that's the beauty of, you know, I'm proud of this, that, you know, our community keeps eyes on this, and we are ready in the morning keeping eyes on everything, what is strong, what is weak. So we stick with the strong, you know, stocks, and when they break a pivot, you know you are going to get a follow through. So this one that we are going to look now is on Tesla. Let's look at the Tesla. So for Tesla, you know, there was all day short. I talked about Tesla heaviness right at the open, guys. I discussed that's heavy right at open, and you know, we can look at our levels quickly if you want to. Let's go look at the levels. Let's see. Let's go. So Tesla, my level was 237.50, the pivot, and you see 237.50 right here. It broke and then it's faded, right? So there was no long in Tesla today. and as my voice was saying, it's bearish, bearish, bearish. Yes, it bounced. There's always a amateur and trend bounce, but look where it rejected yesterday lows and 512 EMA clouds. So no long. So this is very important concept you should learn, and I'm very proud of many traders who shorted it at this resistance. The previous support becomes new resistance. It's the same level that I gave you, 237.50, and then it fade back 233, and yes, later it recovered over 512 EMA. So you can, here's example of a fake recovery, go back, higher lows, and another recovery, right? A lot of call flow coming in. Tesla is at a support, it's getting tight, so I will be watching it over this area tomorrow. So we will set some price alerts. Let's go to next. All right, guys, let's look at Oracle. So Oracle has a room to 100. That's what I said in the morning, because our first priority is the bearish trend, right? The first priority is this bearish trend. So if our first priority is bearish trend like this, and any bounce is a B minus, you see it bounced B minus, that's why I call it a B minus, but never became bullish. And I told people that if you want to bounce it, this is your risk, but it is still up. It's not even B minus, it's a C minus. Look here, it's so heavy, 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 and still heavy, still bearish, and has room 200, still bearish, C minus, breaking down. Good short, no long. I even said it at 1040. I even said it here. Even when I said it that, and even from that level, it went to 100. So it will hit 100. Tomorrow it hits 100. So you can clearly see Oracle all day short. People were short in the community, very proud of them. So another winning idea here. So because see it's all about your entry. If you are having a wrong entry, if you shorted here and got out here and you're like, oh, I missed the move, then it's on you. It's not on the stock, or it's not on the price action. The system clearly tells you where it's short, where do you have to short, where do you have to get entry. It's up to you, right? So yeah, all day short, beautiful idea. Yeah, so the SMCI was a kind of a losing idea today, because it was over my pivot, and then I was like, maybe let's sell it. It's can push with NVDA and AMD and others. The pivot was 264, and it broke out of 264. I mean, it kind of, if you see, when did I say that? Let's look at here, my SMCI, my idea. So my idea was at 958. That's when I said it's over the pivots. So SMCI, if you were early, that was fine. If you took my pivot point that I gave you on 246, this area, that was fine. But if you miss that, and I was looking to see if it works for continuation, I was a little late here, and because my pivot already broke that I gave, and I wanted to see it push more. But then when I pulled back, I held it on for a bit, and then it was pushing. I was green a little bit, but then it broke down, and then I just stopped out. Just took a couple of dollar loss there. So that was kind of a losing idea. I was just late there, but you can still see there's something to learn from here. The pivot I gave, it was there, but it was a sideways action. Still on watch. We'll watch tomorrow. Yeah. So the AMAT was from our watch list, and I said it's strong, watch the cloud pullbacks. I mean, never really pulled back, but if you kind of could have scalped it. Let's see, 939, that's when I said that. Let's see, so I talked about it, that it's strong, and you could have added this slight pullback here to 156.50s, and then you could have traded it into 158. So nothing special, just a 10 a.m. morning trade. And then you would have stopped out right here when it is breaking this candle. That's when I stopped out this 512. It was still still green from where you added, but because it's not breaking this flag right here, so you don't really need to hold it for eternity, because it's breaking down here. So yeah, AMD opening idea. So let's go to the next one. So what was my plan on Macy? So my plan on Macy's was simple, right, guys? My plan was, if 20 keeps failing, short it. if 20 keeps failing, we short it. And what did it do? So it held this level, pulled back to 20, it failed 20, and then faded all day. So the idea worked, right? I was not focused on it, I was focused on other plays, but you can clearly see Messi winning short idea there, right there. So that was Messi winning short idea. So let's go to the last one. So if you watched my yesterday's video, I told you, right, that DOCU, I'm swinging, and look at it, super strength, day 3, dip to EMA Clouds, held EMA Clouds, and all day move. So DOCU was all day move, the best mover, day 3. See, even everybody in my communities knows. See, I'm proud of everyone. They know the setup. It's a day 3 setup, right? So that was all day DOCU on fire. I'm still holding some. We'll see what it gives, but definitely a beautiful winner here. All right, guys, that's it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Remember, when these kind of momentum is there, you need to capitalize. And when we chop, we sit on our hands, because the big money we make on these days helps us to lose small or manage choppy or bad days. All right, guys, if you want to trade with me, join my community. You're welcome. Come for ideas and guidance. Do not come for alerts. And you can ask me any question here on Twitter, on my YouTube, or my website. I'm always available to help you out. Thank you. Keep grinding. See you tomorrow.